Sky's beautiful and so are you. I wanna make it up to you, start something new. Yeah, I've been thinking of the parts I played for you, and how I'm drinking from the bottle as I do. It's like a long dream. You're on the wrong team. Oh, there's a light and there's a fire coming out of me. Every time I see what's a destroyer and one is a warrior, fighting hard to be the better part of me, the better part of me, the better part of me.
Hello everyone, welcome. Woo. I would not have taken a break. I think I got it all up. The plant leaped off and everything broke dirty on my map, so there you go. Welcome to any new subscribers. This is I saw a quote yesterday that said, in a world of toxic positivity, be the authentic chaos. Here you go. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Microphone is on. Give me a sound check, everybody, because I did bump a couple levels up, and let me know if that music is a little too loud or just right. Hopefully it's just right. We're in a deep restorative stretch class. We're gonna get a little warm first. And I've got a small ball with a little squish in it. And so if you want more support or more pressure, less squish in your ball is better. If you want, more air in your ball is better. If you want a little bit less support or some gentle pressure, having like a little squish in your ball is gonna be just fine. Okay? Are we good with that? Great. Let's begin standing. And I'd actually like to use our ball for, I'm gonna be dirty after this. I just did a quick one. Sounds like my voice is a bit lost, so that's not okay. All right. Let's see if we can make that. How about now? Is that a little better? It could be the microphone too, in which case we can change that. But hopefully that's better. I can also speak up a bit too. Let me know if that's okay. We're gonna begin with just a little rolling out using a big ball. If you've got a soccer ball or basketball or anything like this, it's just nice to just kind of let the ball touch the bottom of your foot so that you can just find a bit of release in there. Just find like the gentlest massage. You're not trying to, okay, much better. You're not trying to like shiatsu deep tissue yourself. This is just like a wake up for the bottom of your foot, just getting a little sensation. And just give me a comment if anything rises or falls. I had to bump a level up for something else and I realized there was a level down and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You all, welcome through the world of authentic chaos and multi-passionate entrepreneurship. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. By the way, I forget in terms of dietary restrictions of those of you watching, I forget in the moment, but I had the best breakfast and I wanted to share it because it was from that Clean Life, which is what some of you are receiving in terms of part of the NeuroTune program. So part of the program is giving out some sample meal plans to give some ideas for new meals. And this morning I had a brown rice, coconut milk, blueberry honey bowl. Let's switch feet, but like, it was so good, I miss it. It was so good, I want more of it. And you know, for all intents and purposes, very clean, very basic. There wasn't, you know, nothing to it. You just cook the rice in coconut or in water, then add some coconut milk, thicken it up a little bit, add blueberries, drizzle some raw honey. It was so good. It's so nice to have a satisfying breakfast. I don't know if Heather's on this stream, but earlier this week I did a carrot and ginger smoothie, which I think was in her plan. And I'm gonna say like 5 out of 10. Like it was good, but it was also like a lot of carrot, you know? So anyways, you win some, you lose some. It was delicious, Tracy, I'm telling you, like energy sustaining. Could have done with maybe a little more fat, so I've got a snack that I'm gonna have in a little while, bar, basically, keeping it simple today. But oh yeah, you all, 2024, I got things coming for us in terms of deliciousness. So I'm gonna be putting together some meal plans, some fun like resets, just things that can help us enjoy, because I don't know about you, but I've never enjoyed an elimination plan in my entire life. What I'm doing now is like, it feels good and it feels like I'm eating, which is amazing. Let's take our legs out to the side. We're gonna just roll to the inner edge of our left foot and take our side lunge and just try to get that stretch all the way down the inner line, and maybe heel toe yourself out to the side. I'll stop talking about food, but it was really that good. Good. All right, we're gonna come up all the way. Just stretch your arms up, open your palms to the sky, little back bend up to the ceiling, and then make your way over to the other side, rolling to the inner edge. We're just doing this for a little inner ankle mobility as well. Of course, if anything causes you pain, then find a different way. You don't have to go into pain by any means. Pressing down, open up. I'm pressing to the outer edges of my feet here, and then reach all the way over. Good. Maybe a little more of a flat back, a little more reaching your hips back, like so. So you have that nice long hamstring stretch. Good. Bring it up, open your chest. Little back bend, then we'll go to the other side. Vegan Thai curry. Yeah, I think I'm just in love with the coconut right now. In my meals, I mean. It's like anything. I make a chickpea coconut curry. Oh, it might be the same thing you're making. It's just like a symphony in your mouth. Open up. Good. Come all the way down, and then let's pivot and take our long lunge. So we're just getting a little warm here in terms of the length. We're gonna hold some of our stretches a little longer. So we're here in this long lunge. We're gonna just press back into a long kind of triangle. If you're not able to straighten your knee, don't worry about it too much. Just see what you can find here. Concentrate on pushing your heel down. Let's send it forward again. Tracking your knee over your second and third toe, and then pressing back, letting your head go down. So I was really excited about my food. We're all really excited about our food. Let's begin to start to just drop into this kind of stretch mindset. It's one that lets us be a little bit more focused and concentrated. Good. Let's shift it forward. Now, take your hands down. I was on my fingers. And just roll your back heel towards the ground. It might touch all the way, it might not. It's a little outer thigh stretch. You can adjust your front foot too. Just kind of working down into a comfort place for you. Some of you might feel a little bit more on the bed leg as well. Good. Let's push through the hands, lift up onto the balls of the feet, and then we're going to walk over in a wide triangle forward. Press to the outer edges of your spine this time. Let your head hang. We're going to take like a halfway lift. Just lift up to your flat back, look forward. Good. It's hard to hear me. Shoot. All the way down. All right. It could be... Let's figure this out. All right, is that any better? I'm wondering if it's my lav mic. I'm gonna take this piece off and see if this improves. How's this? Give me a yay or nay. Sometimes this can pop off. That's why I don't always do it this way. And I'll bump the music down a tiny bit more. See if that makes a difference. I don't know if it's the music though, or it's me. Sometimes when I go over, it doesn't work out as well as we want it to. Let's see. This is better. Okay, it might be the mic. The little attachments, which are a little easier to work with, they go bad. All right, so we're over. We're going into a halfway lift. Just give me a heads up if it is hard to hear me again. All right. Often, you know, it's all gonna fall apart in one way or another, but today I'm not letting it affect me because I had a great breakfast. Lift up again. Good. All the way over, let your head hang. One more time, reach it up. Good. All the way forward. All right, let's bend over to the side once again and then make our way over to our long lunge. Finding that lunge to begin with. And then we're gonna start to pike it up. Ooh, this side's a little tighter. So it's 2 straight legs and then reaching forward. Chest reaches out over your knee through the crown of your head. Again, lifting up, pressing through and shifting. Think about pressing your lower back evenly up to the top and then reach all the way through. We'll do 2 more, lifting it up and pressing it through. And 1 more, all the way up. We're coming forward into the lunge. Hands come down as best you can. Pivot onto the outer edge of your foot and just let that stretch happen here.
When you came over, my heart was on its way out.
Breathing, letting gravity do its thing.
And I was thinking out loud.
Good. From here, we're just going to turn over, lower the knee down, and stay in a long stretch. Take your hand from the back of your leg to the inside of your foot, and just let your knee, your back knee, open up a little bit. Taking a couple breaths here. So I'm going to keep both hands, my right foot is forward right now. If you're on the opposite side, just reverse it. I'm going to take both hands forward, and then we're going to shift backwards. And it's not so super important that the front leg stretches per se. It's just more about reaching back. So your foot's down and your hands are over to the side and your hip is reaching back. Almost think of, if your right leg is forward, that your right hip is gonna reach to your left ankle. And then we're gonna come forward and just shift forward and back here. Pressing your hips as far as they like, and then reach back. My hair is getting so long for me. It's a whole new world. We're just testing out some things. I got about 2 more months to grow into a little bob, and then I decide if I want to keep it. But after all this growth, I think I might want to. Good. So every time I reach back, I'm trying to keep my toes connected to the mat, or definitely my heel, at least the ball of my foot, helps get a little stretch along the front of your foot. Let's do 1 more time. Good. All right, coming up and switching sides, we'll just take that other leg forward. And then, again, did not do the best job sweeping here. So we're up at the front, we're gonna roll kind of to the outer edge of your foot as you come forward. And just find that kind of inner thigh hip stretch to begin. Then as you shift back, I put my foot down, and you can see it here. I'm reaching my sit bone back to my heel and just trying to keep the top of my foot long so I get a stretch on the top of the arch. Reach, rolling out to the outside. All right, feels like we're in a good way now. Always a few technical difficulties as we begin, but what are you gonna do? It's the technology is the thing that brings us together, and it's also the thing that annoys us. Good. So whenever we're doing kind of in and out into these stretches, you just want to find your own cadence. Just want to stretch and reach. find a way into like a rhythm that works for you. We are gonna definitely spend a little more time holding our stretches in a few moments, but right now it's just about juicing up the joints. Good, we'll go one more. Good, and then from here, come onto hands and knees. And you can take a little rounded cat-cow. And lengthen. This one sounds a lot like our normal recovery reset playlist, but it's brand new. Good, lengthen your spine in an arch. Let's do one more round of curling. One more round of arching. Hopefully your shoulder blades are feeling nice and warm from yesterday. Then let's lengthen out to a flat back. We're gonna bring the ball kind of right underneath your chest, and then we're gonna thread the needle by rolling your hand, your arm on that ball. And I want mine to go up on my shoulder, so you can just kind of adjust as needed. Good. There, I want mine like right on this part of the shoulder. And then you just let your head hang, no stress. Breathe into the side of your back that's getting the stretch. If your right arm is on the ball, the left hip is reaching away, so that left side is staying long. Good. Press into your front hands, come all the way up, and then let's go the other way. So I'm just gonna roll it like that. Find the stretch that you need. If you want to roll back and forth a little bit, that can be helpful. Good. Come on all the way up. And then take your right hand on the ball and just reach it away as you lower your chest to the ground. Just a little underarm stretch.
You went there every summer. That place you're thinking of.
Good. Reach it all the way back in. And then the other side.
Music you remember.
Keeping space around your neck. Reaching long through the side body, making sure that we breathe. Good. Bring the ball up. You're going to roll it out to the side. Take one arm forward, the other arm out to the side, and just let your shoulder come towards the mat. Sometimes you can get a little chest stretch there. And let's press up, roll it across, take it out. Stretch. Looking in the opposite direction of the ball. Good. All right, come all the way up. We're gonna go into a little breath and hip release. So let's see, I'm gonna move this way. So I'm gonna start up a little bit higher. So we want to start by sitting on the belly balls are great for this. You want to start by sitting on one of them. Okay, so you're going to take your left, it's my right. So your left sit bone, if you're mirroring me, which might be helpful for this. And just kind of put it underneath your sits bone. And then we want to bring this leg down and, oops. Don't kick it out too far. What you're looking for is we're going to be rolling from the sits bone across up to the side of the hip and down the side of the leg. So as you're going through, just make sure you've got it in a place that makes sense for that trajectory, okay? So we're going to take our arm down to the ground and then start to just bring the ball onto the side of your hip. Now, we're not gonna lie, there's a lot of times where this is tight and therefore somewhat painful. And so breathing can help, but if it's too much, if it's bringing on a stress response, a fight or flight or freeze, then maybe it's too tight of a ball or too tight of a muscle. Once you get that onto the side, you're gonna straighten your bottom leg. So you're elongating the line, and then you can step on this top leg here. The bigger, softer ball is gonna give you a little less tension. So we're just kind of rolling down on that hip. And I'm trying to get to a point where I can bring my leg towards the mat, and the ball, the tension of the ball is kind of tugging on the tissue of my hip. And then once I get there, I want to stay there. So it's a little bit of a setup, but you're making it work as you go through. So here I am. I've got a lot of weight on that ball. And so if you can turn your arm out this way, we're gonna press up like I just was. You can certainly hold on to your ankle too if you need to. We're gonna press up and reach down into the long leg. Don't worry if you don't get as high as me, or if you get higher, awesome. Just do what you need to do. So it's kind of like a side push-up. You're pressing up to increase the pressure of the ball into the side of your hip, and then lowering down. There's a little bit of finesse here, you know, that it takes a little time to figure out where the right place is for you. So just do the best you can. Good. We're kind of getting a stretch on the top side too, as we go. And you might find that the leg gets a little closer to the mat and maybe the ball lifts up a little bit. It's okay, as long as it feels like it's doing something positive. Good. Let's do one more here. Good. All right, we're gonna release that top leg. Before we go to the other side, bring your ball forward, and always an option to use something different for this one. You might want a yoga block or no ball, just using your mat. I think I'm gonna have enough space. So we're gonna go into a little pigeon, but we're gonna do this pigeon with the support of the ball. So we want the ball to be kind of right on that side hip, the part that generally gets tight, and then take our arms forward and slip your leg backward as far as you can go. So kind of wiggle the ball around and figure out where it's gonna serve you the most. For me, it's just kind of out of my outer hip, and right now I'm staying lifted in my chest and just kind of reaching my leg back a bit. I'm gonna take a nice deep breath here, and it's almost like we're doing a push-up, bringing your elbows wide, reaching forward over your leg, and then pressing back up to lift your chest. So the object is staying really spacious in all of the places. As you bring your body forward, you're going into a deep hip fold. Remember, the description for this one was a deeper stretch class. So it's not uncommon to feel sensations during a deep stretch, which is the teaching word for ouch. But we want to know that the ouches we're feeling are the appropriate ouches, yeah? Not the ones that feel like they're causing damage, but the ones that feel like they're starting to open up. Good. I'm reading this book right now, and it's so funny, the dopamine release. It's a really fun kind of like fantasy book. It's called A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah Maas. I think that's right. But it's funny, you know, like when you're getting into a good story and like you start to crave it, like you want to know what's going to happen next, you know? And that's where I'm in my stretch, feeling my hip opening and being like, oh, I wonder if she's going to be able to beat the challenge, you know? I love books. All right. Let's take one more up and down. As you go down this time, see if you can bring your hands forward or your forearms to the ground, and let's just breathe here. Allow your hips to sink into the ball, reaching through the crown of your head. Finding that deep opening. As you breathe in, notice where the tension is. As you breathe out, try to relax. Good. All right, let's crawl ourselves up. Or if you're on the ball, go ahead and move the ball out of the way. We're gonna bring your other leg forward and then cross this one we just worked on top and go into a little bit of a lengthening twist. So your hip that you just worked is reaching down into the ground. You're rotating by lifting up and then turning towards the back. Think of standing well into your foot. And if you feel like you have a big bend in what might be your right side of your back, imagine that your rib cage is like a drawer that's been opened, and you want to just close the drawer a bit, and that brings you into more of a straighter line. Your ribs are not straight by any means, right? But we want to avoid kind of creating tension in different places. So if we just think about coming up, even if you have to stretch your leg a little bit farther away, I would recommend trying to stay nice and tall and then finding the twist. Okay? Here for just a couple more moments. Let's untwist the body. Let's stretch both legs forward. Reach your arms up to the sky if you can. Bend your knees if you need to. We're gonna take a little hinge of your spine forward. And then from that hinge, reach forward, let your head go over. Do I love the pigeon with the ball? Yeah. It's the support, one of my favorite styles of yoga is Iyengar because it's highly propped and supported. And the way that it's taught gives you a sense of what it's supposed to feel like in your body. And like, I find with the ball, it's a little easier to release and relax, don't you? Yeah. All right, let's roll up. Let's get ready to go to the other side. So the first thing we did was the hip. So we're gonna come up and do the best you can to sit on the ball. It's all gonna be different for every person in terms of tightness. Some people are gonna, go yikes when they get up here like this. Other people aren't gonna mind as much. So as we start to come down, the idea again is that you're trying to use the ball. Imagine that your ball is pulling elastic on one side and the weight of your body is pulling on the other. And that's the thing that creates the line of pull. So we get down to the ground and then we start to find a reach through the bottom leg. And then we find this pressure between our hip and the ball. And then we lift up and then we lower all the way down. And we lift and we lower. And we lift and we lower. And every time you lift up, you're trying to drop your weight a little bit more. Every time you lower, you're maybe reaching your leg a little longer so you can get a nice long stretch. Sometimes just lifting your side body up is the thing that helps you feel like a little longer on that side too. And go one more. I'm always just experimenting, with different little, I want to do one more. Different little twists and turns. So sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, if I push my hip forward a little bit or backward a little bit, that's actually what I need. So I'm gonna encourage you to do the same because sometimes you can find some really good stuff there that you need. But in the interest of time, we're gonna come forward into that pigeon. Here we go. Bringing yourself up, crossing over, and then getting that ball where it needs to be for your own hip. I think that's it for me. I might need to move over to get a little more space for my other leg. There we go. All right, so where am I? There we go. You gotta wiggle around with it a little bit, find it. And take my hands down, and then a little push up, right? Just reaching forward, folding deep in your hip. pressing your hip down into the ball, lifting your chest. There it is. It's like this tiny little sweet spot that I'm looking for. There we go. Bend it. And stretch. I'm so happy we have these classes on Thursday because I don't think I would be spending this much time on the reset aspect, and gosh, do I need it. I hope you do too. Even just mentally, even just spending a little time just doing these therapeutic movements. And I don't mean medicine therapeutic, I just mean like treating yourself a little kinder. Yeah. All right, let's come forward. Yeah, the roller for sure. Yeah, it's interesting. I've been doing a lot of work on self-compassion. You might see it on my social media later this week. Just thinking about, how I work with so many clients, both in health coaching and business coaching, have a really hard time putting themselves on the priority list at all. And they're kind of only motivated by negative, by fear or a threat or a criticism. And so in looking at literal research on these subjects, what comes up time and again is that people who are negatively motivated by fear or self-criticism, etc., they often believe that if they practice self-kindness or compassion or encouragement to themselves, that they'll lose their edge. And somehow the other shoe will drop or everything will come undone if they don't keep that hard, pressure-filled edge that they won't be able to make it to the other side. Come on all the way up. All right, let's take the ball out, reach the other leg forward, pull up, cross it over, close the drawer, and then rotate. I'm glad you look forward to Thursday. So the thing is that one of the important aspects of self-compassion to remember is that self-compassion doesn't come from this blinded, blissful space. It comes from a space that also engages into information gathering and weighing the options and, being discerning about the next choices. So often when we're motivated by fear, we have to think of what's the lesser of two evils? When we're motivated by self-compassion, we go into the same process, but it comes out as what's the best thing for me today. And let's release, bring it forward. Stretch it up. We're gonna reach all the way over into your hinge first. So as long as a flat back as you can get, and then reach over if you can grab your ankles, your knees, your hips, whatever you need. And just check in and make sure you have equal weight on both legs. Let's breathe there for a minute. So the research shows that motivated tasks that are motivated from a negative self-critical place, they get accomplished, but often there's less satisfaction, there's more rumination, there's more pressure, negative self-talk. Let's roll up. Whereas the positive end of things leads to more encouragement, more growth overall, longer term goal setting and meeting. And look, it's not like we have to be optimizing ourselves at every hour of the day, but it really does help when you understand and you start to cultivate that relationship with yourself. All right, let's start to do some hip work. Speaking of self-compassion, there are a lot of people who say that hip work ends up releasing emotions. There's the research is not straight and narrow to your hips are emotional centers, but posture can be a place where we hold our tension, and sometimes when we release the tension, sometimes we can have an emotional release as well. I know for me, I was in the doctor's and they did a manipulation to my foot and it stopped hurting and I started crying and I said, I don't know where that was coming from, but clearly I was stressing about it, so we just never know. Fair warning, right? So we're gonna go into a mini pigeon, but with the ball on our hip. So take your front foot forward, and then give yourself the hip support here, okay? And if this is too much to be in that position, you can just, actually I think I might choose this one. You can kind of have your leg out to the side, like so. And then we're gonna come down on the forearms. Yeah, I changed my mind. If you love that pigeon, stay in that pigeon, but this feels a little bit less stressful. So kind of move around side to side on the ball and feel where it wants to be, where it needs to be for you, where it's gonna be most effective. And then we're just gonna bend your knee. As you're up here, you wanna keep your weight dropping heavily into the ball. When you straighten your leg, try not to unweight your hip from the ball. Keep it dropping all the way down. So we're increasing pressure. Good. And reach. Oh, Tracy, I'm just seeing your comment now. I felt that there was always moving to the extreme to lose weight, beating myself up. Yeah. It's crazy that we still have to have these conversations today, but we're fighting a $4.6 trillion industry that depends on you thinking that you're not enough and selling you things that say you are enough. But really, truly, you're the person who has to start saying it and start believing it, yeah? And you know what? I think it's very realistic to acknowledge that I don't feel like I'm enough every day. Good days and bad days, right? All right, do a little army crawl forward, a little bear crawl, and now the ball is kind of mid-thigh. For some of you, this is gonna be like, oh, opera singing. For others, it'll be all right. Just, again, the same idea of dropping weight down. Sometimes these little release practices are done for hours on end. We're doing a more abbreviated practice, but we'll be okay. Good. Once we do, let's do 2 more of these, and then we're gonna leave the knee bent up at the top. So leave it up on this one, and then just let your foot roll kind of outward and inward a little bit, and see if that helps get to any places that you need to get to. You are enough. It's so great. I mean, we all were sold the movie. I mean, right? It's like, and then the merch and all of it. Yeah. Did I tell you all that I didn't love the Barbie movie? I'm gonna make some enemies. I loved it for everything that it was. I wish the script had dealt more with how women tend to be pit against each other and what we do about it. Let's go one more time. Come up to your knee, and then I'm gonna climb up and just kind of stretch and bend a couple times. So I'm not on my knee, I'm above my knee, just for those end of quad muscles. So look, I loved the dream house, I love the outfits, I love everything. I just wish the storyline, I wish we could start to deal with how women can work better together in ways that move beyond cliques. Because I think a lot of times the conflicts we have are because we feel like there isn't enough, or there's only enough for one of us, and that there's scarcity. And that's the whole deal, right? Scarcity keeps you motivated. All right, let's come all the way down. Ooh, walk up. I'm gonna vacuum and wash. Yeah, thank you, Colleen, because I've been afraid to say that out loud. I definitely can't say it to my family. They're like, hashtag Team Pink, Team Barbie. But I was like, oh, I wanted, that was fun, but I thought it was gonna be a little different. So anyway, that's just me. No hate. We got another leg to do. I'm gonna just flip around this way. So, right on your hip, kind of below your hip joint, find the weight, and then bend and stretch. We're almost there, everybody. We're gonna do just a little back bending. It'll be good. This side is always a very tight side for me because of scar tissue, etc. If you have any scar tissue there too and it starts talking to you, just, pay attention to what it's saying. It's not a horrible thing to have sensation in your scar tissue. Sometimes it means that some things are loosening up, but also it's a place that has struggled with trauma, so you definitely don't want to overdo it or try to force a shift. That's anywhere. Good. All right, let's walk a little bear crawl forward, putting the ball kind of mid quadricep, and then good. For the image industry, thank you, Colleen. Who knew that we would be having these kind of conversations on YouTube? I think that's why I get so pissed when somebody infiltrates the chat with just the normal BS, because we've created such a little special container here where I do feel like we can have honest conversations. And I don't know what any of your political beliefs are, and honestly I don't really care at this point. I think that we're having lots of straightforward human conversations as we move our bodies, which is one of the best way to process information through ourselves, So I appreciate the platform and the community that we've built here. Let's bend it up one more time and then just roll it out and roll it in. Good. Just letting that ball do its work, This is not extremely Instagrammable. Nobody's gonna do a short on this, but it feels great. I think what's interesting is, there's a way to teach online classes, and maybe we see a little bit more of that in bounce formats. But for me, it feels like a little bit rebellious to teach a deep release class with you all on YouTube. Let's come back. Let's come on to the knee, and then just stretch and bend. I'll tell you what though, if I do, I'm starting to talk to some studios to do a little tour with my book next year. And if I do get to Canada, I know Canada's huge. I'm not confused about that. But if I do get to Canada, my expectation is that you will all be there. And maybe North Carolina too. Good. All right, let's do the last one. All right, let's come on up. Now, there's definitely more we can do for the front of the shins, but just in the interest of time, I thought we'd do a little back bending over the ball, just because, yes, please, right? So find that ball kind of wherever you need it. It's above my ribs. Good, Tracy. I love it. I love it. Thank you. I'm glad you needed it, and I'm glad you received it. So my head is in my hands. The ball is kind of just at the bottom of my shoulder blades. And then we just wrap over the top. And then just come all the way in. So continue your exercise, but I guess one of the questions that I have, because I'm always looking for ways to be more effective with the way I talk about the work that I do. And the current question that I'm rolling with right now is, 'cause most of who I work with are busy people. They're either busy in their retirement, or they're busy in their work, or they're busy caregiving, and they all have kind of a hard time making space for themselves because they give things away to other people. But there is this central theme of busyness that happens. So I'm curious, I need help filling the gap on what flipped the switch for you all to make time in your schedule, knowing you can fill it with anything else. What was the difference for you and making time to come and do these practices. Specifically this one too. I know, Dick, you said that you look forward to it every week. I mean, this is a big ask to do kind of 30, 45 minutes of slow, repetitive motion, even when we logically know it's going to be good. Yeah. All right, let's do a couple more. Good, and then as you come back, sometimes it's nice to just kind of roll across your rib cage if you can. That's possible. I'm gonna get up a little higher. There's this part of your spine that is, you know, kind of like, can get a little locked up. It's the part between your thoracic spine and your lower back. Aw, thank you, Joy. That's great. All right, let's come all the way up. Yeah. It's funny how we can get each other, isn't it? All right, let's come all the way up and then place the ball underneath your hips for a moment. Yeah, without the judgment. I think that's the big piece, right? It's like we know we feel better, but like there's always some kind of message that's telling us that like it's kind of saying lazy or, you know, bigger, faster, stronger, you should be burning calories, you should be this. Let's bring your right knee into your chest and just give it a little pressure, either behind the leg or in front of the knee if you can, and then start to inch your other leg away. So there's a little balance that's needed here, but it will help open up the hip a little bit. Sometimes I like to flex and point the foot down at the bottom. You hear the words of the song. Yeah. I had to do this exercise recently that asked you to be really honest about where you had kind of like compromised your integrity or phoned it in or felt like you sold out a little bit. And it was hard because like I think we've all had those experiences, and certainly when you're trying to find your way, sometimes you can get tripped up and find yourself in a spot that's like, oh, I don't actually like the way this feels. Like this doesn't feel like it's me, but maybe it's bringing in some money, or maybe it's connecting you to some people, or maybe you're just waiting to see what happens. And writing all that down was really, I had a good laugh about some of the things that I've done in the past. None of them are, you know, there's no drama to it. It's just being involved with organizations that I thought I needed to be involved with at the time. Let's go ahead and bend your knee up. And then we'll switch sides. Woo, we're almost there, everybody. But it's interesting, you know, when you start to think back and you're like, oh yeah, I guess that was a little bit selling out, okay. And the whole point of it was to look and see about the things that you've done in the past and how you can avoid making those same decisions in the future, or what you would do differently now. And it was just kind of like very freeing to understand. And like, yeah, look, I don't want to look at any of my classes from like 5 years ago. I don't know what was going on there. I can tell you one thing I know for sure. Super duper extremely technical teaching. It was technique-centered learning, and I was a surgeon at it. But this is much better. Human-centered learning gets a lot more done. The interaction, yeah. Yeah. Thanks. I was trying to edit down our bounce class for Monday, and what part of your personality comes through when you move. I was like, goofball, this isn't me all day long, but this is a big part of me. So whatever we're doing in this space is like absolutely allowing me to be more of myself. Let's pull it in. All right, so sometimes when you pull one knee in and reach the other leg long, you can get a little sciatic so-and-so. I know for me, I do, just loosely ligamented. So if you want to put the ball in between your legs, press yourself up into a glute bridge, lower down, and then just give it a squeeze. It's not uncommon to feel a little adjustment or a pop when you do that. And then press it up to the top, maybe give it a squeeze again. And lower down, and then if you want to keep the ball there, you can. Otherwise, you can take it down. We're just going to do a couple spinal bridges to finish up. So I'm just squeezing the ball as I roll down, one bone at a time. I said this to somebody in my class the other day who was confused about what bridge we were doing, and I said, when it's called a spinal bridge, it's about moving one bone at a time. When it's called a glute bridge, it's about pressing from your leg muscles. When it's called a bridge, potluck, dealer's choice. But right now we're just doing a little spinal bridge. And we're taking our time. Last one. All right, let's take the ball out. Let's take our arms to a T. Go ahead and twist a little bit. Yeah. It's funny because I don't know too much about Iyengar and the training that they go through, but it's interesting how, like, I love that technique, but I had a very similar experience to somebody who was, you know, it was more about getting it right. I don't know. It's you have all sorts of different places that you can focus on, right? You know, so everybody's going to be pulled to movement for a different reason. I think for me it was the support, but I didn't love the teacher, and so I keep working on support in my classes. Take the best, what we say all the time, take what you need, leave the rest for somebody else. All right, my friends, I think we did that. Let's rock ourselves up to a seated position. That was a little longer than I intended to go, but I think we needed a bit of a chill today. A chill mode, not a chill temperature, because it's cold in Chicago. All right, so, just reflecting back on Monday's class, remember that we went through the questions, how does my movement, what small delights do I look forward to in my movement practice? How does my personality emerge as a result of moving my body? How are my relationships affected when I move my body regularly? And the end ask of that was to consider setting a movement intention for yourself for 2024. So maybe it is, I desire to move more like this so that I can engage more like that. And if you are on my mailing list, then you would have gotten an email yesterday detailing the process with a little fill in the blanks. If you're not on my list, go over to jennazaffino.com and there will be a pop-up within the first few seconds. It says everyone reads my emails or loves my emails or something. Drop your name into the field and I'll look at who joins today and I'll shoot out that email to you once again. All right, thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Look out for the holiday schedule that's coming up very shortly. And thanks for being here. Thank you. Big love to all of you. Take care.